Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
My name is Dr. Bud Kluche. I'm going to be your moderator for this evening. And just to start, the purpose that we're here tonight is that we are not here to promote a spirit of fear. We are here to educate, to inform, to offer a place where you can ask your questions and hopefully get them answered. By being informed, it puts us in a place of power, and it drives out fear, and it promotes courage and unity into our community. So again, I want to thank you so much for being here. If you would stand, Ms. Marina Pizzolata is going to come up and do the pledge and prayer.
Okay, would you all stand, please? Okay, I'm going to begin with prayer. God, we praise you and thank you that you are ever present in our lives and you are with us tonight in this meeting. We thank you that we live in a country where we can meet and seek truth. We pray that that truth will be shared tonight. We thank you for these leaders in our community and their willingness to address our concerns. We pray for all of our leaders in our country, in our state, and in our community, that they will seek your guidance in all decisions they make. We ask that you would shine your light on all evil in our land and bring your perfect justice and your perfect timing and way so that you may be glorified. We ask for protection and wisdom for all of our men and women serving in law enforcement and in our military. In closing, well, actually, I would think I was supposed to do the pledge first, but in closing, we want to thank you for the men and women who have served in the military that are staying with us tonight. They took an oath to our Constitution to secure inalienable rights given by you. We thank you for their sacrifice and for their family's sacrifice, as well as the men and women throughout our history who have sacrificed even with their lives to stand strong for our freedoms. We pray for your blessings, and we seek to do your will. All right, can we say the pledge together, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes, and again, I want to welcome you this evening. I'd like to introduce our speakers that we have with us tonight. Mr. Lawrence Dehart from Terrebonne Churches United Food Bank, Executive Director. If you just raise your hand when I mention your name so they know who you are. Then we have Mr. Chris Holton, Senior Analyst and Director of State Outreach at the Center for Security Policy. We have Chief of Police Brian Zarang from Thibodaux. And Terrebonne Parish Sheriff Tim Saunier here from Terrebonne. And also Senator Mike Facey, he's one of our state senators. We have Ms. Danielle Walker here tonight also to offer any information on legislation. She can help with, or Mike can help her either way. Between the two of them, we can get that. We did put index cards on your seats, so if you have a question that you'd like to have answered, if you'll write it on the index card, and if you would please hold it up, one of the members will come by and take that card from you and get it to me, and I will try to get to as many questions as we can after they share their part for you. So we'll begin first with Mr. Lawrence Dehart. Yes, sir, there's a mic right in front of you there.
Bonjour, comment ça va? C'est bien? A little hometown cooking there. What do we got? Oh, okay, one more slide. First off, make it a little easy on me. I get to be the guinea pig, I guess. For those of you who do not know, TCU is actually the hometown food bank. We've been here since 1987. Where that is important, we are made up of the citizens of this region, just like you are. We have been supported by the citizens of this region. We serve the citizens of this region, and we go ahead and this is our home. We're not just coming in. And the one thing I'm very proud of before I go on is we're not a governmental agency. And what I mean by that is we are not part of the U.S. Department of Agriculture. What TCU does, when we give to people, we see people. We don't use the government to tell us who to give food to, what the rules are, and what it is that we do. So I'm most proud of that. It's our 37th anniversary year. In a couple of days, it's going to be 38. This year we'll serve some 36,000 people. I don't like seeing that number, guys, because we survive off of grants, donations, and the love of people in this community. And I'm going to embarrass him a little bit. Our patron saint is State Senator Mike Vasey, who for years has supported us above and beyond, and even before he became a state senator. And a lot of the resources and of capabilities we have are because of him. So let's give him a round of applause. Like I said, we've been part of not only the Terrebonne Parish Emergency Operations Center, but recently I have been honored to be part of the Sheriff's Emergency Response Team. So it's a situation that we have a little bit of experience in dealing with storms and as such. Next slide. I don't know who's next. Okay. I've been associated with TCU since 2015. First as a volunteer, and yes, we need volunteers, either that or writing checks, okay? And I've served as a board member and as president of the board now, exec. We've grown from serving at my time over 7,000 people a year to over 36,000. We're gonna hand out over 1.7 to 2 million pounds of food this year. So we know a little bit about feeding people in an emergency. So we got a little bit of experience with that. I've overseen operations for numerous storms, COVID and Ida, and one of the things I'm very proud of is we never shut down, even in COVID, where 80% of the food bank shut down in operation, we didn't. And for Ida, I can tell you, me and my now wife actually were in the middle of the storm, 100-mile-an-hour plus winds, bringing emergency supplies to the Civic Center, where people showed up unexpectedly. So to say that we have a little experience about the subject we're talking about is a little bit of an understatement. We're gonna answer the questions. One thing, if you want the truth, you're gonna get it, and I'm not gonna candy coat it. Is that okay, people? That's what you guys wanna hear? Okay. Biggest question, do we have migrants that come through Terrebonne and Lafourche Parish? The answer is yes. Last year, in 12 months, the TCU Food Bank served over 3,000 of them to come through. We do so out of our Christian values and because we just see people. And so right now, in the first quarter of this year, we are looking to eclipse that. But again, because we see them and we will service them, we will probably eclipse that number. If there is, should there be civil unrest in this parish? Let's go to the next slide. Outside of natural disasters, there is a reasonable risk of interruption of human resources due to terrorist activities. That is not only a possibility, but if you listen to several government officials, including Director of Homeland Security and Director of the FBI, that answer is unequivocally, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So at the food bank, me and my staff, we have regular meetings, we plan, we come up with special packages specifically for these items, and we work with Tim and other government officials to plan for such events. So this is not something we are unexpected. We'll go to the next slide. Oh, it is, thank you. In the last 2 weeks, this is the last 2 weeks, the Department of Defense released a statement saying that there are at least 2 foreign governments or regimes, groups with credible evidence that they have plans to interrupt or affect the water supply in the United States. Not my words, theirs. The director of the FBI expects events that are similar to the terrorist attack in Russia. So we have to take that very, very, very seriously. Just to give you an idea of how serious we take it, in the last 2 years, over 10 million migrants have been allowed in this country. Of that number, it's estimated that over 40%, that's over 4 million, are military-aged men with no attached families. I want the truth? With 4 million military-aged men, if just 5% are bad guys, that's more men than originally invaded Ukraine. That's serious. Because TCU prepares its staff with food packages along with special protocols, needless to say, it's imperative that everyone have food, and I'm going to tell you why, and water stores in their own homes. Next slide. Sorry, it's a tough number, but I'm going to be very real with you guys. TCU, probably, we have over 350 pallets of food, several million pounds in stores. Most grocery stores today that you see, Rouse's and some of the other ones, they don't have big warehouses like they used to. The days of these large warehouse and large food stores in the back of the supermarkets don't exist because unfortunately in the real world, they get regular shipments of 18-wheelers full of food on a regular basis. Once, twice, sometimes 3 times a week, depending upon the store. They just don't exist. So, if we add up all the food that's at TCU and all the food, there are other pantries that actually store food that are not part of our family that are there, and taking that into consideration. If a disaster started for emergency food, unfortunately, if we took the normal package that we normally give out, in one day or at one time, we could feed at best 8,000 people. There are 111,000 people in the parish of Terrebonne. There's 92,000 in Lafourche. Lafourche would actually end up a little worse simply because they have fewer food banks, meaning less food on bail. And if certain events are going on, let me ask you a question. Do you really think it's reasonable to expect other agencies to come in and to deliver food? We are part of an organization called DRRN, Disaster Regional Relief Organization. It's by invitation only. We're the smallest organization as part of it. We're the only food bank. This is the big guys. This is Convoy of Hope, Samaritan's Purse, God's Pit Crew, the Minutemen, all major organizations that we have literally at our beck and call. And I can tell you in conversations, in certain events, they're not coming because they're mostly volunteers. So we have to prepare to be more self-reliant. Okay, this one's fun. I like that. Okay, and we're not in school. We should be sometimes. Okay, which one can we last longer on without? Food or water? Correct, food. Water is something that we need more of. And if you're like me, I probably can go a little longer than y'all because I've stored up a little extra over time, but it doesn't mean I don't get hungry. Most people don't realize, though, you need 3 types of water, okay? One is drinking water, the other one is house water, and the third one is toilet water. House drinking water, pretty self-evident. Most people have a couple of cases of bottles in their house. First question that comes up, but I see an expiration date on it. Water doesn't expire. The packages do, but not the water. But my advice is 2 or 3 cases of water is not an ample supply. What most people do forget is about what I call house water. House water is things that you need in the house that need to be reasonably clean. It's not really designed for human consumption. But let me ask you a question. Anybody wash dishes? Okay, that's that. Okay, anybody decide they want to take a bath? I took one before I came, so y'all are all safe. So this is water that needs to be reasonably cleaned, but it's not designed for consumption. This is actually the largest pool that you would need. Now, there are easy ways to get this, and I'll come back to that one. And the last one is toilet water. I know that doesn't sound real fun, but anybody remember when the water mains broke in Jackson, Mississippi? Biggest problem they had was flushing their toilets. So I'm going to show you how to go ahead and some of the items that will help with this. Drinking water, that one's fairly easy. You know, some of the sources for drinking water we take for granted that are in our own backyard. In talking to you tonight, I looked at ways that none of us have to go out and spend $5,000, $6,000. We got a real good water filtration system that they sell for 60 grand. Okay, that's not our market. So what I'm going to do is give you some easy ways. Number one, drinking water. We can go back to the last one. I need help. Okay, thank you. Drinking water. Anybody got a pool in their backyard? Okay, anybody got a hot tub? Okay, these are with minimal cleaning. They could be fit for drinking water. The other thing is if you want to, so that's sources that you may not have and realize. I am going to tell you that even though we get water from the Mississippi River and Bayou Lafourche, the filtration system is above what most of us can buy. That is not acceptable drinking water. It does have another purpose, like toilet water. Now, if you want house water, some of the best sources of house water, and you can do so very inexpensively, rainwater. And how you collect it is you go find two of these. You see a lot of these blue plastic drums. You connect it up to your downspout, and you would be surprised on how that does. Downspout end with a little water spigot in, and you would be surprised. And that water is acceptable for what we talked about, cleaning dishes, taking a bath, and so on. Toilet water. Let's get back to house water. I'm sorry. There's another source, and my friends at the water board are not going to like this one, but it's very different in the fact that fire hydrants. If somebody comes and turns on a fire hydrant, the problem with fire hydrants is it's such high pressure that if you go fooling around and you take the cover off and you try, you're going to find the water's going to shoot 60 feet off. So that can be a hazard. But is that an acceptable source for house water? Yes, it is. The nice thing about that is this fire hydrants come from, everybody knows the big water towers? It's all gravity fed. So we don't need pumps, we don't need electricity to get it to your house. So water is actually a little bit more important than food in this case. But again, you got to think on 3 dimensions here. Drinking water, house water, and toilet water. Toilet water is real easy. You grab a bucket, I'm very fortunate, I got a canal in my backyard with a rope. You throw it in the bucket, and you get there and you just pour it in and it'll flush. That's simple. Food. I'm going to upset some of you. Canned foods versus MREs. Let's get to the truth. MREs are lousy. They are not healthy for you. And as a matter of fact, the United States government, dealing with healthy soldiers, does not allow their soldiers to be on MRE protocols for more than 7 days. They are on MREs for 7 days, and I will tell you that they have to get off and eat something again. My source on that is a command general, a major, and actually a command sergeant who spent 3 tours in foreign lands on us. So pretty reputable source on that. Canned goods. I like canned goods. Why? It's easy to add. It's not going to break the bank, guys. Okay? When you're going to go to the thing, and instead of picking up 3 cans of green beans, which you're going to eat for a week, get 6 and only eat 3. Go to Sam's. Easy to pick up a 6-pack or a 12-pack, and you can store it. The one thing that's very interesting about canned goods versus MREs is MREs, believe it or not, have a very short shelf life. The other problem with MREs, high carbs, high salt, high preservatives. Okay, if you have minimal health problems, they are going to create problems for you. Me and the EOC have gone around for years, while if you ever notice for